Hello, I'm the X-Toycat and welcome back to the video. Today let's talk about Minecraft console, and actually I wanted to share one of my more controversial opinions that I have. I know a lot of Minecraft players are going to go, no, that's just objectively wrong, but yeah, I wanted to talk about one of the limitations that is exclusive to Minecraft console, and one of the more defining things about this version of the game, because on the console, unlike on the Pocket Edition and the PC version of the game, there is a limited sized world. It's not infinite, or infinite in big air quotes, it doesn't go on for millions of blocks in each direction, it only goes on for thousands of blocks, which, a lot of people would hear and just say, oh, well that's just objectively worse, right? And although it sounds like that on the surface, and although there are a lot of disadvantages, I think having a limited sized world actually has a lot of really positive, effects on the game, and I want to go through why I think, limited sized worlds make it better, in my opinion, in today's video. Hopefully you all do enjoy it. Again, this is a controversial opinion, so some people are going to be like, oh no, that's the worst thing ever, dislike, 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 but hopefully you do all enjoy the video, and hopefully you all do hear me out. If you do all like it, please do let me know, because it helps out the channel, and lets know you do like these sorts of videos, where I just talk about something that, again, I really do quite care about, and limited sized worlds is one of those things that I really do want to defend, because I wish they would put these limited sized worlds on the PC, as an option, so you can have infinite or limited, and I wish they put limited size, infinite worlds on the console as an option. The reason they can't properly, by the way, is because there are, save size limits that all console manufacturers put on their devices, but I wish they'd be like, yeah, have an infinite size world. If you run into issues, which you would if you had too big a world, then just stop exploring, or something like that. I wish the option was there, but it's not, and this is the world we're dealing with, so let's talk about why, I think the limited size world is better in a lot of ways, in fact, so many, than the PC infinite size world. So let's just get straight into it, shall we? And let's start with the first reason here, which is to do with exploration. So the big thing that people can say when it comes to infinite worlds is there's so much better exploration. Like, you can walk for millions of blocks in any direction, and you won't hit a world border until like 30 million blocks in one direction. So yeah, 30 million blocks of exploration versus on my medium-sized world, I think it's about 1500 to 2000. So yeah, I think it's 1500 exactly, actually, in one direction versus 30 million, which sounds really bad, like, oh, 1500 blocks versus 30 million. Clearly that 30 million is 20,000 times more exploration, and although that's true in some sense, it's really not, because you've got to bear in mind, Minecraft content is heavily based on biomes and stuff that you find there. Look at the ocelot disappearing. But yeah, Minecraft biomes are heavily based on what you find there and stuff, and, it's not just like, oh yeah, this second jungle's so much cooler than the first one. Once you find a jungle, finding a second one doesn't matter, right? Can we all admit that? So if you go explore for 20 million blocks in one direction, you're going to find 5,000 jungles, you're going to find 6,000 plains biomes, you're going to find like 12,000, you're just going to find millions of copies of each, little biome, and although that sounds kind of cool on the surface, it really has no purpose. Like, once I found this jungle, even elsewhere on this, relatively smaller world, it doesn't matter if I find a second one, because I've got jungles, I've got ocelots, I've got all this stuff, and that's why I think, my first point here is just, like, having a bigger world doesn't mean more exploration. I think, having the smaller sized world, although there's less to explore that's new each time, there's the more fun element that makes the world more familiar, of the fact that, yeah, now, once you've explored something, you always know where it is in relation to everything else you found so far. Even with just a single map of your, classic sized world, and then, everything else beyond there, you know that, okay, once we go that way, next to the, the desert in the far distance, we've got this, snow biome right here. Next to the snow biome, we've got savannah, and we've got a, an ocean. The fact that you can know where stuff is in relation to each other is really, really cool, and again, it's something that you don't truly get on the PC, because although you can craft maps, and although you can learn your way around, it's just not as commonly done, because most of the time you're not exploring like a square-sized map or a circle-sized map, you're just exploring a giant straight line, trying to find whatever you need to find, because, yeah, that must be the second point here, which is to do with, the amount you find stuff. So yeah, on the console, although certain resources are limited, certain resources are made more abundant to make up the fact that they're really limited on the PC. So let me just put this in two ways. First of all, on the PC, you can find an infinite amount of diamonds, let's say. On the console, you can only find 30,000 per world, which I think is either A, a cool challenge, or two, will never affect you. Like, how many people have realistically mined 30,000 diamonds? But still, the fact that there is a limited amount is cool to me, because it makes me want to go, yeah, I can go mine those. But on the other end of things, resources that are around the PC are made common on the console. So, for instance, sugarcane can be, it can take you 20,000 blocks to find sugarcane on the PC. On the console, oh, guess what? If all you have to do is, head this way, and there's always going to be some in your world. There's certain biomes are really rare on the PC, pretty common on the console. Every single structure is so incredibly rare on the PC, but you're always guaranteed to get usually at least one structure on the console, which is crazy cool. Ocean monuments for guardians. That's just it's so insanely rare on the PC. You have to go so far. On the console, oh yeah, you get one maybe every like 5th or 10th world. And although that sounds like a bummer, like some worlds don't get them, the fact that they are more common when they do exist, and the fact that certain resources like the sugarcane and like the plants and stuff are found more commonly, just makes me go, yeah, I think that's better. I'd rather not have to explore 30,000 blocks to get something that I feel like is essential versus, guaranteed to have it on my world. So, yeah, I think the limited resources thing works in both ways on the console. One, there are limited resources, so you can have a cool effect on the world. Like, you can mine all the diamonds if you want to. It just takes a really long time. You can do what I've done before, where I've just destroyed a whole biome, and it's like, yep, that's a whole desert gone. That's all of my desert gone now. You can have these giant effects on the world because it does exist limitedly. Like, if I destroy that jungle right now, that's my jungle destroyed. If I destroy that jungle on the PC, then, guess what? There's only 49,900 left in the world. And to me, at least, that's a cool thing. The fact that you have a limited amount of everything, but then you're guaranteed to have a certain amount of some things, like villages and like this. And actually, like my third point here, which is going to be to do with the Nether. So you're also guaranteed to have at least one Nether portal. But yeah, the other cool thing I like about the console Nether, which is to do with the limited size thing, is the fact that you can, basically, portals on Minecraft and all platforms are linked based on distance. So if you have one portal less than 50 blocks away from this one in the Nether, then it will just link to the same place. So for instance, this portal actually links to one that's in my house, but however, because the Nether works differently on the console and the PC, on the console it depends on your world size, but I think right now this is 1 to 6, so 6 blocks in the Nether to every 1 block in the overworld. Oh, no, 6 blocks in the overworld to every 1 block in the Nether. On the PC it's something like 16, so this means that my Nether is larger, proportionally than it otherwise would be, which means I can have more entry points in and out. The fact that the Nether scales differently is really cool for me, because it means that with all the 4 world sizes, you can have a Nether that's really large, 1 to 3 blocks, or you can have one that's perfectly PC size, but the fact that you can have anywhere in between, it's interesting to me. The fact that, there are so many options, but also, the other thing I love about the console Nether that changes because of the, the limited size world, is because this has borders as well. This can be truly explored to the edges, so everything applies the same thing here, but this can be reset when you're done with it. So that means that finding Nether quartz, easier on the console. Finding glowstone, easier on the console. Again, it brings back into that resources thing where you're going to get certain resources more often as a result, and the reset Nether thing just makes that even more likely, which I just really quite like. So yeah, I like the Nether on the console. It's got the same advantages then again of the fact that you'll recognize it over and over again. The PC Nether is just an unrecognizable mess of just I guess Netherrack formations, whereas on the console I recognize everything going on around here. Like, yep, this, oh jeez, I don't recognize this gap, it seems, but I recognize everything going on right here. Like, okay, my Nether fortress is over there somewhere, I think. Over there's like this giant fee of soul sand. The fact that you can actually recognize stuff, you might argue that's worse. Like, I want my Nether to be uncomprehendable, but I love that the Nether is just about understandable, unlike it is on perhaps other platforms, and I really do quite like that about the console. So yeah, console Nether, it's smaller, it scales differently, it's larger because it scales differently, although it can be the same size if you want it to, and also it's recognizable, and it means that certain resources are easier to get, and those resources happen to be some of the coolest ones. Like, everybody loves glowstone, right? Everybody loves Nether quartz, and the fact that you can get so much more of it is just pretty awesome. So that's only my third point here. Let's move to the fourth one, which is to do with the border. So if you don't care about all that stuff, you're like, okay, I love that there's more to explore. I like that the resources are better distributed. I love that you can actually make an impact on your world and remember where stuff is. Like, oh, next to the jungle, guess what? There's a spruce forest. Then next to that, there's a roof forest, just in the space of that many blocks. I love how close the biomes can be in that space. More exploration in less time in a way. But once we move past that, let's talk about the fact about the border, because what I did is I built an entire wall around my old border, and then I just expanded it. So I built a wall, made my Minecraft world great again. But yeah, I built this giant wall right here, and it's pretty cool and stuff. But this is just one of the many things you can do with your world border. So yeah, the fact that you have a border, which one starts out as just being a giant ocean in that direction, is kind of cool. But two, there's a lot of weird mechanics you can do with it. So you can make a prison, for instance, that takes advantage of the fact that you can't break the last layer of blocks around your world. You can destroy certain parts of the world beyond that, and what happens is, it destroys and makes a really cool pattern. There's so many weird things you can do with the corners and with the edges of Minecraft console that you don't get on the PC, because you'll never experience the Farlands in survival legitimately on the Pocket Edition. You'll never experience the world border legitimately on the PC, but on the console, if you want to see the very corner of the world, if you want to be safe and only have 2 directions you can see people from, you can do that. And yeah, really what this all ties into is the fact that the PC version of the game, the Infinite World, it's cool and it has so many advantages because, oh yeah, you can explore and you can do that, but I think having a limited sized world really just changes the game in a fundamental way, and a lot of those fundamental changes are good. I think the console version of Minecraft is great, and again, that's why I've played so much, and that's why I love this Let's Play world. That's why I'm so motivated to do stuff, because I make this giant impact on different parts of the world. You can actually make this part of the world mean something, and it won't just be lost because guess what, your new base is over there. You can never just be like, oh yeah, I went 20,000 blocks away from spawn, then died, and now I'll never find that spot again. It's just gone for the ages. On the console, that doesn't happen. You'll always know where to get back to where you died, and my point, or you can at least know the direction direction. And my point I wanted to kind of finish today's video with is that, yeah, infinite worlds would be cool. I wish there was an option so you could play around with them, but I think if I was given the option, I think I would still play with my limited size world. I wouldn't expand this to be infinite because I quite like the fact that everything is kind of localized in a lot of different ways, and I hope all of you did enjoy this video, and hopefully it convinced you or just made you go, oh, I guess there is two sides to this coin and not just, infinite worlds are the best ones. But maybe you didn't, maybe you just skipped to this end here and you're like, it's okay, I'm going to leave an angry comment. I know, I'd love to hear your opinions in the comments down below. Otherwise though, like the video if you did like it because it helps out the channel a lot, and let us know you do like these discussion videos about something I thought was kind of important. Share the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you're new around here, because I make videos like this one every single day on my channel, and if you subscribe, you'll see them daily on your homepage. In case you're kind of angry right now and you're like, oh, it's okay, you're the worst, let's just watch the sunset together and let's make it all wonderful. So, yeah, goodbye everyone.